Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T. Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Miss T.
Can't wait for you to meet Miss T. She is the T in T.
All right, so welcome back. This part 2 of habits, steps, lifestyle shifts. Again, anything you do once, you can do twice. Anything you can do twice, you can make a habit out of it. And anything you make a habit out of, it can become your lifestyle. So I was doing some documentary work with my staff. And if you don't know, I have a nonprofit. It's called Studio T, Arts and Entertainment. I built it from scratch with help from a lot of remarkable little human beings. And we are really doing a lot of transformative work that is changing lives from the top of California to the bottom and across the country. And when I first started that company, one of the key things that I wanted to use as a medium to help people was media, whether that was podcasts or short videos, sizzle reels, audition reels. That's how I was able to get a lot of dance talent opportunities in Hollywood, and they're still working in it, as well as filmmaking. And so we were in Oakland and Richmond, which is where I'm from. We're doing some documentary work. And one of them had a question for me, and I like to quiz. We're doing all this work together. I asked them, so what did you learn from this experience today? And do you have any questions? And one of the question was, Miss T, I love working with you. I love working with the company, but I have a goal. I have a goal of earning or making 6 figures. And I said, oh, okay, good. Let's dig into that. Because anybody who works with me, and just so you know what kind of organization I have about, 30 or so employees for now. We're growing rapidly. And one of the goals is, yes, we do this work, under the auspice of the nonprofit, but I want you to achieve your dreams and then use this as a vehicle to help you do that. And so 6 figures doesn't sound like a big deal to me. So I said, let's break it down. The first thing I had them start with is, one, you got to be able to value yourself. So whatever your side hustle is, whatever your it is, your creative thing is, you have to be able to put an hourly value to it. Now, for some people, because they love it so much, they'll give the thing away. And I was one of those people. I will show up and shoot your wedding. I will do your dance show. I will shoot your videos of your recital, just because I loved it so much. I was impassioned by doing it. It was creative. It was fun, but it wasn't getting me any closer to a 6-figure goal. So what I started with them with is we sat down, we had burgers and fries, and I had coconut cream pie, and it was so good. I like the coconut cream pie. It was very yummy. So anyways, over my pie and their fries, we started to break down, first things first, is what's your hourly value? Because if your goal is this lump sum, we got to start with the 1-2 steps that are going to get you to this goal. And then being clear about, what it is that you're offering by way of a service or a product, so that we can monetize the value, we can determine the value of it, and then figure out how much of that we can do in an hour, and then figure out how much help we need in order to, get this thing done, so that we really come up with an hourly value. And so that was the thing. So we just threw out a nice round number, and I believe it was $100,000. So yes, you're earning this under the auspice of the company you work for. Put that to the side. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what you're doing with your side hustle, and it's $100,000. Okay. So in determining what your value, how do you value your hourly? Now, for some people, it's $50. And it's not what you get paid with your employer. That's not what I'm talking about. This is what you get paid as the employed for you. You are self-employed. So is it $50? Is it $100? Is it $500? For this specific scenario, we chose $250. So let's say, for instance, you're going out to shoot some photography of an event for 1 hour of your time and creativity. It is going to cost $250. And let's say, for instance, you're like me. I don't show up for 1 hour. I'll show up for a minimum of 2 hours. Okay. So for a minimum of 2 hours, you're going to make $500, but your hourly is $250. Okay, so again, we're still looking at that $100,000 number. Okay, so now let's break that down. That $100,000, let's break that down. Okay, how many months are there in a year? 12. So you're going to divide that number, for example's sake, that number is 100K by 12. Okay, we're going to get your number. Do the math. You do the math. Then you take that monthly number and you divide that by 4, assuming there's 4 weeks in a month. Okay, if there's 5, that's your bonus week and you can make some extra money on it. But for example's sake, we're only doing 4. So again, that 100K divided by 12 months in a year. Divide that number by 4. That's weekly. So now we have a weekly number. Whatever that weekly number is, again, you're doing the math. That weekly number, we want to divide that by your hourly rate. And for example's sake, that hourly rate is $250. That should give you about 8.83, somewhere in there, 8 hours. So what we were able to discover over burgers, fries, and coconut cream pie is that in order for my staff members who are asking the question about increase to make an additional 6 figures, they had to use their skills as a videographer and photographer for 8 additional hours each week at $250 per hour. So now that big, I want to make 6 figures, $100,000 in 1 year became very easy, because now they could see all you need to do is give 8 hours to this thing outside of your regular workday, maybe on a weekend. Take a Saturday, 4 hours on Friday, 4 hours on Saturday, or all day Saturday. Do your cleaning and your editing on Sunday, for part of the day. It's so much easier to look at this thing as 8 hours a week, $250 an hour for gigs. And then when you get that money, bank it. Don't be spending it. Bank it. Make sure you track it. You will have to learn to pay taxes on things. We don't rob, we participate in the system and stuff like that. So you want to calculate that into your big number, so that you may have to do some extra hours here or there just to cover the difference, so you really do pull in and hang on to that 6 figures. So I hope that helps you. We had a bit of an aha moment. What looked like a huge task became a doable thing because we broke it down into bits and bytes, and then we found a way to attack it one step, one action at a time. So if you're one of those people and you want to make 6 figures, identify your thing. What's your thing? Identify your hourly rate. What do you want an hour? What's your value an hour? And one of the things that came up is like, what if people don't think, what I do is of that? Well, you know what? People will think what you do is worth $250 when you know what you do is worth $250. So don't wait for somebody to determine your value. You decide that this is my value, and I promise you, people will not even question it when you say, oh, that's $250 an hour. You'll get it, as long as you are in agreement with that is what you're worth. So as you're getting started, it's okay if you offer discounts. I kind of did just because I love doing the stuff, but you want to make sure that you just get started, you just try. But once you book your first gig at your determined value or your hourly rate, again, it once it happens the first time, it's so easy to get used to. So I encourage you to figure out your number, figure out your goal, reverse it backwards. You can do it. It's easier than you think. It just seems like it's a big deal because it's a big thing, because that's the end result. What's more important is the journey and the steps that you take, and you can get anywhere one step at a time. So I hope that encourages you. I hope you did the math. I ain't doing your math for you. You could do the math. Everybody got a calculator on their cell phone. No, I literally did the math, but I'm hoping that you did the math. And the reason I wanted to do the math is just so that you can see how easy this is. So thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. If you know somebody else has a goal of hitting 6 figures and they're not quite sure how to do it, I promise you can do it. And I know that this sounds like it's mildly simple, because it really is that simple. Just follow the steps and let me know what your outcomes are, and share this with somebody else. So then we have a bunch of people making 6 figures and everybody's lifestyles are better. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.